of Yoga for Beginners at Home with Dave Rennie. I'm at home today. I'm not at the Space to Breathe Collective, where I've been the last few weeks. Join me back in my flat in good old Leicester. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this practice today. We're going to start with a little bit of calming breath work. So you can do all of this stuff in a chair. We'll sit for a little bit, and then I promised you last week that we were going to do some sun salutations, right? So that's kind of where we'll go, and we'll kind of break those sun salutations down, because I think they can be a really good part of your practice, right? They can be a kind of sometimes we think, well, I can't do yoga on my own because I don't know how to do it. And I'm not sure if I get the breath right or any of the moves right. What I would do, I would encourage you to kind of, find a practice where you can do for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And sun salutations in the morning are beautiful, especially as we move into spring, right? You can open the windows, hear the birds sing outside, and move through a few sun salutations. So we'll break those down today. We've done them before. We don't do them loads. And you can also do them in a chair. So I'll promise that I will do them next Monday when I've got a chair yoga class. I think it's at 2:30, and we'll do sun salutations in a chair as well. We do them more in a chair actually in my classes than we do on this mat-based yoga class. So find a comfortable seat. I am going to move back a little bit, not a lot, and I'm just going to make an adjustment with that light above me because it's creating a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm also going to have a quick trip into my kitchen and just shut these blinds because the light is a bit weird here. So what I would ask you to do is come sitting up nice and tall and find some length in your spine and relax your shoulder blades down your back. I'm sat on a little cushion here just for comfort. That's better, isn't it? Nice. You ain't got no glare anymore. Bring the hand onto the knees. And just check in and see what's going on. Yeah, feel free to say hello. Thank you, Alan. I enjoy having you here as well. So maybe close your eyes and just check in and notice what you notice and see what you've brought onto your mat with you this afternoon. It's just that idea of notice what you're noticing, I guess. And then in all of my classes this week, we've been doing what we call a little bit of box breathing or square breathing. So maybe join me in this. It's a nice rhythm. Let me talk you through 2 rounds. You're going to use your nose if you can. You can use your mouth, but I'd recommend nose if it's available to you. So let's start this first round. So inhale through your nose. And then just pause your breath here at the top. Hold it. Then exhale through your nose. And then hold your breath at the bottom. Think of it like a square or a box. Inhale through your nose. Pause the breath. Exhale through your nose. And pause the breath at the bottom. Carry on like that. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. And pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. One more round. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. And then from here, just let your breath come back to a nice steady rhythm. Try and stay as still as you can be and just check in. Again, notice what you're noticing. And then if you had your eyes closed, very gently just open your eyes. Nice work, everyone. Beautiful, beautiful work. Let me move back a little bit more. I'm going to remove my cushion that I was sat on. And from here, we'll do a little twist. So again, remember, you can stay in your chair if you're in a chair. Inhale to bring the arms all the way up. Reach up here. Exhale, twist to the right. So left hand on the right knee. Right hand supports you behind. Inhale to find length. Exhale into your twist. So you might turn the head, might press into those right fingertips a little more. You want to feel this stretch down the left side of your spine, left side of your body. Maybe into the left hip. Inhale to bring the arms back to center. Reach up, exhale, twist to the opposite side. So right hand on the left knee. Left hand supports you behind. Inhale in, exhale in as you go. Just a couple of rounds of breath. Inhale, come back to center. This time, keep the hands nice and low, and then just begin to move out through your shoulders in any way that feels good for you. Maybe just rolling one shoulder up, the other shoulder down. Make it up, right? Don't feel like it has to be the same as me. I like to do these. I like to kind of roll my shoulders forward. I roll my shoulders back. And I notice how these feel. Nice. And then just a little bit of movement through our neck. Bring your right hand up, bring your right hand onto your left ear, and just draw your right ear down towards your right shoulder. Don't pull here. Just use the weight of the arm just to kind of bring that weight into your neck. And you can play around a little bit here. You can bring the chin up, you can bring the chin down. And keeping your shoulders relaxed. You're not, as I say, pulling. You don't want to create a huge amount of tension here. Just a little stretch. And then swap that out. Right hand down, left hand on the right ear, and then just draw the left ear down towards the left shoulder. And play around with it, see what you need, see how all of this feels. Right? Because it can feel quite different from one side to the other. Nice. Bring your head back to center, and then just do a few circles. Maybe just start by rocking your chin a little side to side. And then if you wanted to, you can circle your head out. Pick a direction. Doesn't matter which way you move. Make sure everything feels okay. It's nice and freeing. And then if you want, you can just swap it out and come back the other way. See how that feels. Nice. And then inhale, bring your head all the way back to center. And then from here, take a full exhale. Nice. From here, lean back into your hands and then separate your feet and then just knock your knees a little side to side. So it's a nice freeing motion here. I like this kind of way of moving. It kind of frees up the back and the hips. Beautiful. Nice. Let's do a little bit of work through our spine. So come back with your legs crossed. Maybe bring your other shin in front. If you can remember which shin was in front, then it's useful sometimes to swap it out. Inhale to bring the arms all the way up, and then press your palms up towards the ceiling. You can have a bend in the elbows, and then push your palms forward, round into your spine. Inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to round. As you inhale and lengthen, make sure the back of the neck remains long, so you're not leaning too far forward or back, and then exhale, round the spine. Inhaling up, And exhaling down. Maybe a few more. Nice. And then inhale, bring the hands all the way up. This time, bring the hands into prayer and then comb your arms all the way down. Nice. Beautiful. Do that one more time. Inhale to sweep the arms up and then exhale to bring the hands down. You can go wider. I'm a little bit restricted with my shelves here. So inhale to bring the arms up and then exhale to bring the hands down. Beautiful, nice. I'm going to go back. You're probably on your mat already, right? But I'm going to go onto my mat and then you're going to arrive on all fours. If you're not there already, you probably knew where we were going to go. Find yourself on all fours. And because we've been sat for a little bit of time, maybe give the body a little stretch out. So you can press into the feet, press into the legs, lengthen one leg. I like to spread out through my fingers because I think that's a great habit to get into. And then you can lengthen the other leg out. See how this feels. And then maybe lengthen out through the right leg if you can. And then see if you can just spin those right toes to the long right edge of your mat. Left hand more underneath your nose. So right in the middle of your mat. And then inhale your right arm up. And just breathe it out here. So this right leg remains nice and strong. And I'm pressing into the outer edge of that right foot. So I'm just noticing what's going on. Now, this can be perfectly reasonable, right? It's a great space to be. Great place to be. Or you can sort of spin that supporting left knee out, maybe lift your right leg up. Now it's a little bit of experimentation with the balance and then bring everything down and then just swap that out. Come to the other side, left leg long, bring the right hand underneath the nose, turn the toes to the long left edge of your mat. You can stay here, you can sweep the arm up. As I say, great place to be. Breathe in deeply. Maybe spin that right leg off the mat or the right toes and lift the left leg up. So you've got a little balance going on. And then exhale, bring everything down. Find yourself on all fours. So in a sun salutation, this is one of the positions we find ourselves in. But from here, move through cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly down, lift your head, lift your heart. Exhale, round into your spine. So if you get confused with the breath, this is your inhale. Belly drops, head and the heart lift. This is your exhale, you round into the spine. Beautiful. Inhale, come back to center. As you take a full exhale, find yourself in a child's pose. So you can split the knees wide and then bring your sit bones back towards your heels. You see I lengthen my arms and then I bring my forehead down onto the floor. But you can always stack your head on your hands like this or maybe on fists. Again, notice how this feels. Breathe in deeply. And then when you're ready from here, press into your hands and bring yourself all the way back up. All right, what I'd like you to do is come to stand. So you can do this nice and simply. Walk the hands back towards the knees, press into your toes. So you're kind of in this little crouching position. And then when you're ready, come all the way up to stand. All right, we'll find ourselves at the top of our mat. So what we're going to do is just going to walk forward. I'm just going to check I've got plenty of room here. That's good. So make sure you've got plenty of room as well. So you can bring the arms nice and wide. All right, before we come into a full sun salutation, let's just do a few half sun salutations. So this is nice and simple. Look at your feet. Make sure they're lined up with the long edges of your mat. When you're ready, inhale, sweep the arms up, reach up towards the sky. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and come all the way down. So swallow dive down. Nice. Inhale to lengthen your spine. So you want your spine to be relatively long. I don't come too low here. I bring my hands up to my knees or my thighs, maybe sometimes below my knees. Exhale to hinge and fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale to come all the way back up. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. So we're just going to do that a few times with the breath. So I'll just instruct with the breath. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. All right, let's go again. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more like that. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale, hands to your heart. So that's sometimes classed as a half sun salutation. Bring your feet about hip width apart. Bring the right hand on the heart. Inhale, left arm to the left. Exhale, right arm to the right. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So just moving side to side. So, this little free in motion, we're going to do this before we do a full sun salutation. So that's perfect, right? If you don't want to do the plank, you don't want to do the down dog, you don't want to do the cobra part of a sun salutation, it's in the morning, you feel like you want to wake yourself up nice and gently, what a great way to kind of move. Just with those, 3 or 4 movements, and just keep repeating it, and maybe do it for 5 minutes, and then get on with your day, right? It can be just a way of getting into your body, or maybe just doing this, right? Getting up and just having a little sway from side to side. All right, let the arms be nice and loose. Nice. And then another fantastic way to move is by doing squats. Now, people get a little bit nervous about squats. Undoubtedly, you have to look after your back and your knees and obviously your hips. But because you're using your thighs, right, your adductor muscles and your glutes, it's so good for us, right? So for metabolic health, the heart, the lungs, all of the kind of systems coming online, this is very, very good for us. And as we all get older, we need to keep this strength in our legs, right? It helps us kind of build strength, helps us keep balance. So if you ever wanted to do any squats, then I would recommend bringing your feet a little bit wider than your shoulders. And then you want to kind of maybe bring your hands at your heart. I just usually have my hands down by my hips, and you track backwards. Now you can lean forwards, right? So if you see how I do it here, I'm leaning forwards, but my spine is long, right? So what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring the weight into my heels. Okay, so you inhale up. So inhale maybe as you come down, exhale as you come up, or the other way around. But make sure there's a breath. So now you don't have to come down too far. Don't push it. You don't want any strain on your knees. But I promise you, if you can do these, and you do like a couple of sets of like 10, and you build up to a couple of sets of 25, wow, you'll really begin to feel the difference very, very quickly. Gets your heart rate up. It gets into those big muscle groups. So good for you. Seriously. I think if there's any exercise or any movement that you can do safely, obviously, a squat is incredible. And I know a lot of people who shy away from them because they're hard work, right? But if you can get into that form where you can do them safely, super good. Inhale, come all the way back up. Come back to the top of your mat. Bring one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Let everything settle down. But if you like those kind of movements, check out Andy's classes with his HIIT exercises. He does seated stuff, he does standing stuff. They're brilliant. They're really, really good. And he teaches every week here on the Virtual Village Hall. All right. With this kind of movement, right, flexibility, energy, we've created it all. Let's move to these sun salutations. So we'll do a full sun salutation, or 2 or 3 or 4. Let's see how we get on. From here, hands at the heart, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Right, we've been here already. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. Again, we've been here. But this time, bring your hands down. See if you can step one foot back, then the other. And then take an inhale and find yourself in plank. All right, take a breath or two. Nice deep inhales. Full exhales. Nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, lower to the floor. Now, why don't you do it this way? Drop the knees down, soften the tops of the feet. Keep the elbows tucked into the side of your body, but try and lower with loads and loads and loads of control. Come down onto your belly. This is the nice bit. Keep the hands where they are, soften the tops of the feet. Inhale into cobra. This is your back bend. And again, look, I'm staying low. I'm not coming up high. Exhale, tuck your toes, and see if you can push yourself back into downward facing dog. You can take a couple of breaths here. Deep inhale, full exhale. Maybe have a little visual on me. You see my knees are bent a lot so I can lengthen my spine. From here, we're going to come to the tops of our mat. Now you can do that in as many steps as you want, but try and do it lightly. I first step my right foot up. I'll come onto my right fingertips. Then my left foot up. I'll come onto my left fingertips. Inhale to re-lengthen your spine. Exhale to hinge and fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Beautiful. Nice. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. So that was one round. A little bit quicker this time. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank. So every movement has a breath. Here's your next breath. You inhale into plank. You exhale to lower. You can drop the knees or lower in one piece. I'll leave it up to you. Inhale, come through into your cobra. And then exhale into your downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths. When you're ready, bend your knees, hinge your hips, look between your hands, and then step through. One foot, then the other. Nice and slowly. Feet are lined up, long edges of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hinge and fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale to come all the way back up. And then exhale, hands to your heart. So this is what we call Surya Namaskar A, or Sun Salutation A. So they're the movements that we do. Now you might get confused by them, but you can always replay this video, or you can go on anybody's content. Try Yoga with Adrienne. She's amazing on YouTube. She does loads of sun salutations. It's really accessible, fun yoga. All right, let's do another one. Hands at the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, comb them down. Nice, forward fold. Bend the knees though. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands down. One foot, then the other. Take an inhale here. Here you are in plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale into cobra. Raise the shoulders. Lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. From here, bend the knees, hinge the hips. Kind of spring like a cat. And then step to the top of your mat. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale to fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. We've got one more in us, right? Let's do it. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. I'm looking at the cobwebs. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale, hands down. Step back. One foot, then the other. Inhale here in your plank. So this is where you find your form. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths again. Final time we'll do this. Bend the knees into the hips, up between the hands. Step through. One foot, then the other. Inhale. Exhale. Root down through your feet. Inhale. Come to stand. And exhale, hands to your heart. So what do we do? Like 5 rounds? Something like that. I love them. I think they're great. And as I say, just do that in the mornings. You know, you can sit, you do a little bit of breath work, get into the body, work out what's going on internally, right? Then externally, you can feel into your body, a few little warm-ups, a twist or two, you know, a little bit of seated cat-cow, and then come and do some sun salutations, and then make your coffee, super healthy breakfast, get on with your day, all right? I was going to name a breakfast cereal there, but I wasn't going to. None of that sweet stuff. All right, let's do a little balance. Root down through the right foot. Now, remember what balance is? You can hold onto a wall. Find a spot to look at, and then I'm going to root down through my right foot, lift my left knee up. And all I'm going to do is just squeeze this left knee in. Now, you might fall out, and that's totally fine. But what I would also promise you is if you do this every day, your balance will get so good, right? If you think, oh, I can't balance, it's all about a practice. And it's never too late for any of this stuff, right? You're never too knackered or old. Believe me, I know, right? We can keep learning these tricks. We've got all this wisdom, right? As we age, hopefully. So we know with kind of persistence and practice, right? We're always learning something. It's beautiful. That's life, right? Don't ever feel defeated, even when things are really rubbish. All right, bring that left leg down, root down through the left leg, and then lift up through the right leg. Little basket grip. One side might feel quite different to the other. And just try this, right? Every day. If you did it for like, I don't know, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, then you can begin to experiment. You could be like, oh, what does it feel like if I come into a tree and I'm here? Or what does it feel like if I grab my foot and I bring my arm up and I can come here, right? So there's all these different things we can do. But we start small and build. Beautiful. Exhale, bring that right leg down. Little swing from side to side. We're getting there, everyone. We're going to come back to seated. I'm going to come a little bit closer. This will be the final part of the class. So come and settle down. Beautiful work. And you know, yoga, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be nice and simple, right? It can be just these little things where we come into the practice, we move in a way that feels good for us, we settle at the end, and then we can get on with things, right? Hopefully feeling a little bit better about ourselves and the world around us. So instead of us catastrophizing, thinking that everything's rubbish, right? We're rubbish, that the world's rubbish. It doesn't have to be like that, right? All right, maybe close your eyes. And find that stillness again within your body. But now maybe you can just tap in with, I don't know, a little bit of appreciation for the movement that you've done. Maybe you kind of tap into your physical body and you feel a little bit different, right? Maybe a little energy within your body. And I always think that yoga is about just kind of shifting the perspective, paying attention, moving from one place, arriving at the other, right? And it can be exactly what you want it to be, right? It doesn't have to be, it's certainly not performative, right? It's not extreme, it's gentle. It can be energetic as well, but these are the best bits, right? When we get to just check in at the end and appreciate yourself. I really mean that. I'm not just saying it glibly. I mean, really appreciate yourself. Maybe a couple more rounds of breath. And then from here, just very gently bringing your hands to your heart, pressing your thumbs into your sternum. And then with a full-hearted bow, wish yourself well, wish everybody else well. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for practicing today. As I say, loads and loads of sun salutations on YouTube. I say Yoga with Adrienne. Check her out, or check my content out on the Virtual Village Hall, because what number was this? 230 odd. There's a lot of them there, and I would have done quite a lot of those classes where sun salutations are there. But as I referenced in the class, things like the squats that you might be like, oh, I don't want to move like that. Check out Andy's stuff. Andy Osborne, I think he's called. Pretty sure it's Andy Osborne. Yeah, I think he's a fellow Leicester lad. And he does some brilliant stuff. He's got great energy. I love doing his classes. But, you know, then you've got things like mindful mobility, and then you've got the Pilates with April and laughter yoga with Tess. And, you know, Max does the guided meditations, which are really beautiful and soft. He's got a lovely voice, a lot nicer than mine. But there's so much good content, all the creative stuff. Check it out on YouTube and Facebook. Support the Virtual Village Hall. Give them suggestions, right? Because there's loads that you can do. Volunteer with the Royal Voluntary Service, right? One amazing organization. And I love teaching this class. The length and the breadth of the country. It's really lovely to be here. I'm back on Monday. I'm pretty sure it's 2:30. I'm going to be doing chair yoga class. I will be at the beautiful Space to Breathe to do that. So join me. You can do so much from a chair. And what I do also love about the Virtual Village Hall is a lot of this stuff is chair-based mobility. And right, we don't need to stand up and do all the sun salutations. I'm going to show you sun salutations seated as well. So have a great weekend. I'm going up to the northeast. I'm going up to Whitley Beer. Sorry about that accent. I'm going to visit some friends. But whatever you're doing, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And I'll see you on Monday. Cheers, guys. See you later on. Bye now.